Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be kind of challenging that whole unicorn startup narrative and talking about maybe something a little bit more resilient and impactful, a dragon, if you will.
Oh, I like it. Fire breathing.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. What do we got?
Well, the main source that we're going to be tackling today is a Medium article by Dev. It's called From Unicorn to Dragon, a guide for builders in the world of technology.
So, unicorns being those mythical creatures that are rare and very, very valuable.
Yeah, hard to catch.
Super hard to catch. And dragons being those powerful and strong and, weathering all those storms.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds really interesting. What else?
Yeah, and then we're going to be kind of connecting this to a real-world trend using an article from the Wall Street Journal called AI Investments Are Booming, but Venture Firm Profits Are at a Historic Low.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. And it's kind of interesting because it seems like a lot of these firms are, throwing money at AI, but they're not really seeing the returns.
So maybe these valuations aren't all they're cracked up to be.
Right. And that's kind of what the author of our Medium article is getting at. They start out by talking about their own journey. They were kind of initially chasing that unicorn status, but realized that it just wasn't really fulfilling.
Right. Yeah. So much of it is hype and, just chasing valuation instead of actually building something that lasts and is truly valuable.
Okay. So let's get down to it. What is this dragon approach that we're talking about? What do they advocate for?
Well, you think about a unicorn, it's that mythical creature. It's rare, it's beautiful, but it's also fleeting. You see it for a second, then it's gone. A dragon, on the other hand, is this powerful force of nature. They're resilient. They can withstand these crazy challenges. They're forged in fire. I mean, literally.
Yeah. So instead of chasing, a quick valuation or a quick exit, we're talking about building something with strong foundations that can last and create value over time. Yeah, exactly. And they talk about how dragons, they thrive in complexity. They're able to kind of turn those challenges into opportunities, which is, I think, what we're seeing in that Wall Street Journal article as well.
Yeah.
A lot of these companies, they're struggling because the market's complex. It's changing rapidly, and they're not able to adapt.
I like this visual of a dragon kind of navigating a maze, and it's using its fire to kind of clear the obstacles and find the path forward.
Oh, I love that. That's a great analogy. And it speaks to that kind of builder's spirit, They're not afraid to get their hands dirty. They're constantly learning, they're adapting, they're figuring things out. They're not afraid of the mess.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so compelling about this whole concept.
Yeah.
It shifts the focus away from the destination and more towards the journey, the process of building the company. That's where the true value lies.
Yeah, and it's about building that resilience. Dragons aren't fixed on a specific outcome. They're focused on that process of creating something valuable and evolving with the market.
So it sounds like almost the real wealth of a dragon is not in the valuation, but in those skills and that experience that they accumulate along the way.
I would say that's spot on. It's that resilience, that deep understanding of how to build things that allows them to actually solve problems that matter.
And it's interesting because they're not opposed to VC funding, but they approach it very differently. They're looking for partners who share that long-term vision. People who understand that building a dragon takes time and it takes dedication.
Yeah. They're very discerning about who they let in. They're focused on building relationships that are going to help them achieve those long-term goals, not just a quick buck.
So it's not about chasing investors for the sake of valuation. It's about finding those allies who believe in the mission.
Exactly. And I think that ties back to that image of the dragon. They're very selective about their battles. They're not going to fight every fight. They're going to focus on the challenges that align with their values and their purpose.
So it's a much more strategic approach. It challenges that whole startup narrative that prioritizes rapid growth and those quick exits.
Right. It makes us think about, what does success really look like? Is it $1 billion valuation? Or is it about building something that truly makes a difference?
It sounds like for them, it's all about the journey. The challenge is the value created.
Definitely. It's not about the destination. It's about how you get there.
This whole builder's journey idea really speaks to me. I think there's something to be said about mastering your craft and building that resilience through the inevitable challenges that come up.
Yeah, it's about embracing that messy reality of creating something new and knowing that the path to success is rarely ever a straight line.
So, it makes me wonder, could we apply this dragon mentality outside of the tech world? Could this be a model for success in any field?
That's a really good question. And one that we should definitely explore further. Let's take a moment to think about that as we move into the next part of our deep dive. So, as we're thinking about this dragon concept in a broader context, there was one line from the article that really stuck with me, and it said, "You don't have to follow a map. You are the map."
Wow. That's a pretty powerful statement. What do you think they meant by that?
Well, I think it speaks to that builder's spirit. Like dragons, they're not bound by conventional wisdom. They don't need a set of rules to follow.
So they're not afraid to blaze their own trail.
Exactly. They're forging their own path, they're charting uncharted territory, and they have this internal compass that guides them.
So it's like they're building a new kind of map for success.
Right, one that values resilience and adaptability and long-term value creation.
And it's not about avoiding challenges. It's about navigating them strategically, using them as opportunities to grow and innovate.
Exactly. Yeah, and it makes me think about how we talk about failing fast in the startup world, but with this dragon approach, failure is like an integral part of that learning process. It's not something to rush through.
It's not something to be afraid of.
No, it's almost like valuable feedback, a way to course correct and refine your approach.
Okay. So instead of fearing failure, dragons embrace it as a chance to learn and get better.
Exactly. They don't let setbacks define them. They use those setbacks to fuel their growth and propel them forward.
So it's like bring on the challenges.
Yeah, they actually thrive in those complex environments because that's where they really learn and that's where they get stronger.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, do you think this dragon mentality requires a certain level of self-reliance? Or do you see a role for mentorship and guidance in their journey?
That's a good question. I think dragons, they recognize the value of learning from others, but they also have that strong sense of independence.
So they're not afraid to seek out advice, but they're also not afraid to go their own way.
Right. They trust their instincts and their own vision.
They have that conviction.
Yes. And they're not easily swayed by, trends or what's popular.
So that unwavering belief in their mission, that's a key part of their success.
Definitely. It allows them to stay focused on that long-term vision.
And that kind of fire, that
Mm-hmm.
passion, you can't just buy that.
No. It comes from experience and hard work and a deep love for what they do.
So while money might be necessary to fuel the dragon's flight, it's those internal resources that really define their success.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's about mastering the fundamentals. It's about honing your craft through practice and perseverance and building that foundation that allows you to solve problems that truly matter.
So it sounds like they're advocating for a return to the roots of entrepreneurship, a focus on building something of real value.
Absolutely. And that's what I find so inspiring about this whole dragon concept. It's a reminder that true success is built on passion, dedication, and that relentless pursuit of excellence.
Yeah, it's about embracing that journey with all its ups and downs and using those experiences to fuel your growth.
And creating something truly extraordinary.
It's about trusting your instincts and having the courage to forge your own path.
And inspiring others to do the same, to embrace their inner dragon and build a better world, one fire-breathing idea at a time.
I love that. But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I can't help but wonder, can anyone be a dragon? Is this mindset something that we can all cultivate, or is it reserved for a select few?
That's a great question, and one that we'll definitely explore as we move towards our final thoughts on this topic.
As we wrap up our deep dive into this dragon concept,
Yeah.
I'm really feeling inspired. It's like we've uncovered a new way to think about success. One that moves beyond those traditional ideas of valuations and exits.
I agree. It's definitely a refreshing perspective. And, it brings us back to that question we posed earlier. Can anyone be a dragon?
Right. Can we all cultivate this mindset?
I think so. I think the dragon mindset, it's accessible to anyone who's willing to put in the work. To build something truly meaningful. It's about cultivating those qualities, the resilience, the adaptability, the passion for creating value. And those things, they're not limited to a specific field or profession.
So it's more about embodying a certain spirit.
Exactly, a certain approach to life and work. It's about facing those challenges head on with a sense of purpose and always being willing to learn and grow along the way.
What really struck me about the article was that emphasis on the builder's journey. It's not just about the end result. It's about the process of creating and overcoming those obstacles.
Right. And the author even argues that sometimes that pursuit of quick riches and overnight success, it can actually take away from that journey, It leads to those shortcuts and compromises that ultimately hurt you in the long run.
So it's about building a strong foundation through hard work and dedication.
Yeah. It's about embracing the messiness of creating something new, Understanding that the path to mastery, it's rarely ever a straight line.
There are going to be setbacks. There are going to be challenges.
Exactly. But it's how we face those obstacles that really defines us.
So it's about learning from our mistakes
Adapting to new situations.
and always striving to improve our skills.
And you know what? It's also about finding joy in the process itself. That challenge of creating something from nothing, solving those problems, and leaving the world just a little bit better than we found it.
I think that's a really powerful message,
Yeah.
especially in a world that's so focused on instant gratification.
It is. It's a reminder that true fulfillment comes from the journey, from that dedication to your craft and that relentless pursuit of excellence.
It's about embracing that dragon within, that fierce spirit that drives us to create something truly meaningful.
So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this question. What kind of dragon will you be? What fire will you bring to the world?
What legacy will you leave behind?
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey of exploration.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep building, and keep those dragon fires burning.